So Maxie, have you noticed what's going on about the Emergency Services District again this time? I mean, we beat this thing back in 2022?
Correct.
Almost by 8 points, or it's rough.
It's 54 to 46.
54 to 46. So
yeah.
I can't do my math very well. It's 8 points.
Yeah.
8 dang points.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard about it, even though it's been kind of a hush-hush deal. I mean, the only reason we even know anything about it was because a few of us have been to Commissioner's Court, and we were able to see what was happening, behind the scenes. And again, it's frustrating too, because they're trying to rush this through before we even have all the information about what Kendall County is going to be stepping up their game to do. Right now they've actually allocated the money to create a survey, countywide survey, to find out what we, the residents, want to see when it comes to firefighting in Kendall County. Again, we're not saying that the ESD should be taken off the table. We're just saying not now. Let's see what's going to happen with the results of the county survey, and let's go from there. If the county's going to step up, we're done.
Exactly. I think you and I are on the same page. I feel like we need a county-wide plan, not just one that serves one area. That Bergheim, that service area is only 1/7 of the entire county. So it's relatively small compared to what we could do with a larger county-wide program.
And it would be cheaper.
That's a good point. I heard from the elections department that it's going to cost about $24,000 to place this item on the ballot. Have you heard that?
I heard it 25,000.
25,000. So that's a pretty big chunk of change to put something on the ballot that's already been soundly defeated the last time, and before
only affects 1/7 of the county.
And 1/7. So we'd be spending $25,000 for 1/7 of the county on a proposition or a measure that was defeated by 8 points right at 2 years ago.
Yeah. Nothing has changed since 2022. Again, the only reason that it's being pushed at this point, and the reason it's been kept hush-hush within our area of Kendall County, is because they understand there's a better opportunity for this thing to pass this time because there's much lower voter turnout,
But they haven't been very transparent with anything.
Of course not, because they only want the people that will vote for it, to be aware of what's happening. Again, it's only by happenstance that we found out about it. It's because some of us went to court.
It seems like it's kind of like gerrymandering by not being transparent.
Right. Well, it's keeping it hidden to just the people that you want to know, the ones that will support you, is my humble opinion on all that stuff. We haven't had a real good chance to organize and get people rallied to discuss it and to reach out to their commissioner and the county judge to make them aware of what their feelings are and what they want to go forward with. So again, we've been encouraging them to tell their commissioners and the judge to wait, until we see the results of what you get back on our survey, and let's go from there.
It feels like to me, because it's, for lack of a better term, because they're trying to hide the fact that they want to put this on the ballot, it almost feels like it's a cash grab.
Yeah. Well, again, I think we determined, back in 2022, again, a survey was done to find out, based on the property valuations of this area and the Bergheim, the service area, how much money was at stake from a property tax standpoint. Right. And again, I think the number that was presented was $3 million, And $3 million for a Bergheim Fire Department, that's a lot of money, potentially that we're going to turn over to somebody that we haven't even elected, We don't know who these people are, but we're going to be giving them potentially $3 million a year to use for what? Again, when this happened the last time, spoke to a couple of the pro ESD proponents, last time, and said, look, okay, if you want to, let's sit down and let's figure out what we can do to make it work. I understand, everybody understands, okay, that we need, with the growth out here, we probably need to be having some kind of full-time staff.
Right, and to your point, and to I think there's a select few folks that think that just because we're having these discussions about the ESD and we're a little we're in opposition to the way that it's being brought to the table doesn't mean that we are against firefighting or first responders in any way. In fact, I would go the opposite direction and say that what folks like you and I are doing are paving the way for those folks to get exactly what they need. No more, no less. Correct. So that way the folks that are out there struggling to make ends meet, our elderly population whose property taxes are capped, they're subject to this unless they're put into the measure that they're exempt. Exactly. It doesn't apply to them unless they specifically spell it out. So we have folks that are struggling, working 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet, put food on the table, clothes on their backs, a lunch for their kids when they send them off to school. So I think we really would like to communicate to those that are watching this that we are definitely pro first responders across the board, but we are also for making sure that our tax dollars are being spent wisely.
Correct. And they're not overly cumbersome. Everybody understands, that, in order to provide services going forward, there's probably going to need to be some kind of tax, involved in this. But let's make it a tax that is livable,
equitable.
And equitable, exactly.
Right? And not just for the 1/7, and everybody's paying for the 1/7.
Correct.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. Right on. I can agree.
Again, to get back to, deployment of firefighting services. Again, we need to understand, and again, it was, I offered up to the pro ESD guys, let's sit back, let's talk about this, let's see what exactly we need, in the county, to make this work. Mm-hmm. And again, one of the problems with this ESD is that, these directors, the board of directors, mm-hmm. They're going to be selected and appointed by the county commissioners. Again, you have 2 commissioners, this ESD service area, it basically spans precincts 2 and precincts 3, But again, then you have 3 other people that don't live in this area that are capable of appointing people to this board, Again, if we had elected officials that we could vote for and nominate via the election process.
It sounds like taxation without representation.
I think you could call it that. I think, if we had some boxes of tea, we could throw it in the stock pond right now.
That was good. That was really good. I wasn't prepared for that. That was good. That was good. So having all of these unanswered questions and and the speed at which they're trying to bring this in front of the court to get it on the ballot, $24,000, $25,000, it just seems excessive. And at the same time, I think the best way to get the word out is not only what we're doing now, is having a discussion. I think we really need to encourage people to be at Commissioner's Court on February 11th.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I know, a lot of people aren't as fortunate as me to be retired, and they're going to have to work for a living, and right. So they're not able to make it because the public session is going to be at 10 o'clock on the 11th. Right. So again, at a minimum, they need to either call or email their commissioner,
yes.
All of the commissioners, whether you're in the service area or not.
All of them, to include the judge. I think people kind of go, I don't need to talk to the judge. No, he is a voting member of the court.
He gets a vote, yeah. And again, this is going to affect everybody in the county, So everybody needs to voice their opinion of it, If we have this one ESD that's hung out in Bergheim, again, chances are there'll be interlocal agreements such that they can provide reciprocal, fire services again. But the ESD, they can bill for certain things. Okay,
Sure.
and again, is this going to be part of what their board of directors is going to allow? It's just there's so many uncertainties. And again, all our volunteer fire departments are part of an integrated wheel, okay?
Right, and they've got local agreements that
Yeah.
mutual support agreements and so forth and
Exactly.
so on. And you brought up another, the ESDs, the angst that we're talking about and the things that we're feeling right now are all the unknowns.
Correct.
Right, that come with the ESD.
Correct.
Because my understanding of an ESD is that once you have a special district in place, others can immediately go right behind it without going to the public for a vote. Because we're essentially, when we vote in one, we've opened up the doors for an ambulance ESD,
Correct.
first responder ESDs, and then follow behind that could be a law enforcement special district. So, and each one of those districts are entitled to 10 cents per $100.
Yeah.
So while today it may only be 10 cents per 100, in a couple of years it could be 30 or 40 cents per 100 in aggregate.
Correct. And again, here, this property, you walk outside my door 100 yards and you're in Comal County, okay? Comal County, I am paying.
You're paying for them.
I'm paying for 2 ESDs, one EMS and one fire, to the tune of about 17 cents total between the two. And that's what we can probably expect. If this goes through, then we know that we'll be probably looking for an EMS ESD as well, okay? So,
But the county just built a brand new facility, or in the process of finishing up a facility over there.
signifying their commitment, okay, to EMS services and fire services. This affects the entire county, okay? It's going to affect, what the county delivers, when they deliver it, when they do get the results of the survey. So everybody needs to reach out and tell the commissioners, let's not put this on the ballot just yet, okay? If need be, if it seems like based on the results that we get back from the survey, if it looks like it's still viable, for Bergheim, let's put it on the November ballot then,
Right.
okay? But again, we need to take this time out, to see really what the county is going to pony up, okay, for us going forward.
I have a pretty good feeling that the county will bend over backwards, and that they have been bending over backwards, trying to assist all of the volunteer fire departments, but more especially, the Bergheim Fire Department.
Exactly. Just for fiscal year 2025, the county gave Bergheim right at $165,000, okay, to pay for what they needed in Bergheim. Plus, they offered up 2 full-time firefighters, okay, to be out there to provide calls for busy hours, okay, when the volunteers are working and doing what they need to do as volunteers. And so again, they've stepped it up, okay, and they're continuing to step up more, okay.
Didn't the county create a county fire department?
Yeah, they did create it again, and they've purchased a brush truck from Waring.
Okay.
Again, we're starting to have to focus on firefighting around Bernie, okay. Again, the rural areas, chances are they might have to be served by Kendall County.
Sure.
So again, Kendall County is stepping up to do that.
So why, I guess that's what I don't understand. We have a choice of an uncontrolled taxing entity, potentially with an ESD, because there's no oversight, or, which, that's 10 cents per 100, or we support the already formed county fire department with maybe 3 cents or whatever that number happens to be. It may be a new tax, but it's going to be considerably lower, and we get financial oversight of the whole operation, because the commissioners will get a report whenever they ask for one, but they'll at least get one annually. And the constituents like us, we don't like what the commissioners are doing, we can always fire them.
Correct. And again, the most important thing about it is with an ESD, okay, you're going to have your own set of baggage associated with that. You're going to have to hire your auditors, your legal counsel. You're going to have somebody do payroll. You just have all that baggage. Well, I hate to say this, but we already have
We've
that
already got the baggage,
right.
right.
And it's nothing that we have to buy additional. So again, we've got everything we need there, okay, to facilitate a county solution. So, let's let the county do it, okay? Plus, the advantage of doing the county solution is we know that, they've got frozen taxes, okay? We know that they are...
Ooh, that's right. It's because the elderly that have their taxes frozen, it won't go up because it's already in place.
Correct.
Wow.
So again, that's an important piece of it, okay? And then, a lot of us, we're cheap. We can't afford to not be cheap, so we prepay our taxes,
Right.
so we get a 3% discount, okay?
Oh shoot, that's a wash right there.
Yeah, you won't get, okay, the same thing in the ESD. When it happened last time, I asked those questions, and they said, we don't know, and the board will decide once we get it in place. Well, no. Let's know what you're going to do first,
Right.
and then let's vote on that. Don't ask us to give you a bucket of money and then figure out what you're going to do with it.
That reminds me of an email or something on social media that said, like, you have to pay your taxes to know what your taxes are.
I think her name was Nancy Pelosi.
I think you're right. That is hilarious. Yeah. Hilarious. But it's apropos for what we're talking about here.
Yeah. And again, like I said, there's going to be how much of this 10 cents per 100 is going to go for baggage. Okay.
Right.
You got to believe, if it was just firefighters, okay, firefighters and their equipment, okay, but this, we just have no clue, what we're really going to be paying for.
So Maxie, what can we do right now? What can the people in Kendall County do right now? What's at the top of the to-do list? How can I help? What can we do?
Well, number one, you need to get in communication with all of the commissioners, okay, not just your own, and the judge, and let them know that we need to delay this, okay? It shouldn't be on the May ballot, okay? Again, they need to speak up, okay? If you can't be there on the 11th in person, send an email, call them, whatever you need to do.
And they can sign the petition as well.
And also, we do have an online petition,
right.
Okay, that and hard copy petitions. Again, I've been going around to, the people that maybe aren't internet enabled,
sure.
And we have hard copy.
So they can reach out to us.
So they can reach out to us
on our page, wherever you're watching this video from.
Correct.
They can reach out to us and
we can go by and get it signed.
Get it signed,
yeah.
And we can also. I'll put
put the link on
the links in there and phone numbers and email addresses for all of our commissioners. Plus, I think we've already got a map, a high definition map, which was, believe it or not, very difficult to come by. They weren't really wanting to share that.
Yeah. So. Well, and again, I think we've got a link to the GIS website. Good. Where we can include that. And okay. Again, it's zoomable, and I believe that's in the petition right now. Okay. I'll go and look, but I think we included that in the petition. So again, you can zoom in and try and find your street, your neighborhood, and see if you're in the ESD. If you're in the ESD, the only people that can vote for the ESD are people that live in the Bergheim.
Or against it. Or against. Yeah, the only people that can vote, period, in this circumstance are the people that are within.
Correct.
That. But your point earlier was, even if you don't live within the boundaries of the ESD, you still need to contact your commissioners and the judge. Correct. Simply because, well, I'm going to just say that simply because you're next. Yeah. If it passes, you're next.
Well, potentially. And again, it's one of those things that we said it when we first started. We need an integrated, cohesive map for Kendall County.
Right.
Again, we see what's going on in the comfort area where the battery energy storage subsystems, Leonard homes, all that kind of stuff. We need to take a time out and decide, what are we going to do?
100%.
Okay, and that's what we need the survey for. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to talk to either the commissioners, Andra and or Richard Chapman about when the plans are to get this petition out. You know, I know that, you know, they spent money for it. $6,000 has been allocated.
You mean the survey for the
survey?
Yeah.
So I know that I saw that on the budget numbers that were presented this morning. I saw that they spent that. So something's in motion, but you know, we need to find out, you know, how long it's going to be. When do we plan to have the results? All that kind of stuff. So again, because I know what people are going to say. Well, you know, it's a government thing. You know, it's going to take 2 years for them to get the survey back.
No.
Okay. So again, you know, we need to hear something from our commissioners as far as, you know, where it's at, when is it going to be delivered, what are our plans for getting it in front of the people and thus far, you know, and again, we need to hurry up because the budget process for 2026.
Well, there's that, and February 11th is right around the corner.
Yeah,
it's going to come quicker than anybody, you know, expects.
Right.
And I want to leave one last thing with you and anybody who might be listening, that contacting your elected officials in some manner is critical. Exactly. And if everybody that is concerned about this, which should be everybody in the county, if we can come together and just ask our commissioners, please table this, please slow this process down, something until we can get a better idea of how it's going to impact the county, countywide, not just for Bergheim. If we do this together, then we'll have another repeat of 2022.
John, do you have any other ideas about how we reach the public and get this information out? Because again, we're just word of mouth at this point. You know, I'm sending emails to friends and family and stuff like that, but how can we expand the message and get people involved?
Well, I'm going to be emailing everybody on my email list, plus sharing it on all the social media channels. And specifically, I think if people want or need to have more information, they can go to our Facebook page, which is Kendall County, at Kendall County, no ESD, all together in one word, and they'll be able to get to our Facebook page, which is all the information is there, the petition, the map, the phone numbers for county commissioners and the county judge, and email addresses. And I think that's all they need. And in fact, if anybody wants more information, they can drop a line, direct message to the ESD page, the Kendall County No ESD page, and one of us, somebody will get back to those folks immediately, as fast as we can, because it's so important that we have open communication, how to work together. This is not, again, I just want to reiterate, this is not a slight. There's nothing personal involved in this discussion. It's all because we want to see what's best for the community, the county at large, instead of just 1/7 of the county.
Yeah, we want to make it right for both the firefighters and the taxpayers.
Yep.
That's what we want. Again, you know, this ESD is kind of lopsided, okay, towards the board of directors at the ESD.
Yeah,
okay?
and it's been personality driven. You know, now going on almost 3 years now. Yeah. It's been personality driven, and we just don't need to do that.
Yeah,
there's so much other stuff that we need bigger fish to fry out there. We can make this work. I think if we all come together, we can make this work for everybody.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.